Human history is centered around one story, the story of progression. Unfortunately, this has been stopped by one defining barrier: systemic racism. All of you in the audience will have an understanding of what racism is and what the transatlantic slave trade was. It lasted 400 years. It then ended in 1833 with the Abolition of Slavery Act. Black people must always be better, work harder, and struggle more than others because systemic racism exists. Systemic racism is a complex process that involves racial inequalities embedded within our practices and policies. Whilst we've made progress on this issue, it simply isn't enough, because black people may have been freed from their physical shackles, but they are still mentally shackled by the system which once oppressed them. Because at the end of the day, we are told we are black, devoid of light, and destined to be held back. This is why when I was younger and I joined my local rugby team, I put in hours upon hours of hard work. I'm not one to toot my own trumpet, but I was pretty good. And it was because I was told from a young age that I had to do double those around me to get some form of reward or achieve some progress. Yearly, we would have award ceremonies, and I would work relentlessly in hopes of getting some recognition. I never did. It was because the system was still telling me that I was black, devoid of light, and destined to be held back. It took me years to realize that the system I was a part of had no hopes of helping me progress. It only wanted to make me regress, which made me constantly question myself. Was I really good enough? Why did it have to be like this for me? Us? Because we are black, devoid of light, and destined to be held back? Systemic racism is a problem, and we must all work together to progress and eradicate this disease from our society. We do this by continuing to promote inclusivity and mutual respect for ourselves and others, and continuing to dismantle institutional bias. So, we may no longer define black people as devoid of light and destined to be held back. Remember this: you define yourself and only you. So will you brand yourself a product of this oppressive system? Or will you be its opposition, which is the bright light of change and progression?